Okay, somebody had a question. We're on 221, number 81 and number 84. And the directions here ask to graph the equation and use the zero or the root feature to approximate the zeros of the function and determine multiplicity of each zero. So I'm going to show you how to do that on your calculator. But first, it's a good idea, if you want, to try and find the zeros using algebra. I can factor out an x here, and then I get x squared minus 4. Factor again, x minus 2, x plus 2. So really, the zeros should be x equals 0, x equals 2, x equals negative 2. Now, can I find those on my graphing calculator? And one way to do that is to go to the y equals and type in the first equation, y equals x to the third minus 4x. And if you see here, there's my graph, and it does look like those are the zeros, 2, negative 2, and 0. I can change my window if I want so that I can see a more exact picture. And then at this point, I type it in, and you can use the trace function and try and trace the line and see if you can find the zeros there. And that's all there is to that one. This one's nice because you know what the exact answers are. Sometimes the trace function won't give you these exact answers. I personally, if I can use algebra to find the zeros, I think that's a much better way to do the problem. But you need to learn how to use a calculator to do it. So play around with your trace function. Now, the question also asked about multiplicity of zeros. In this case, there's 1 0 at each one of these spots. Multiplicity would happen if one of these was a squared, then that 0 could happen twice, so it would have a multiplicity of 2 for that one. So that's all that part of the question means. Now, remember, I always start off with my window at a 10 by 10. But since these zeros are small, you might want to try and look at the picture with your window going from positive 4 to negative 4 and maybe up to 5 and down to 5. And you can get a better picture of where the zeros occur. And I encourage you to try that. And again, now for 84, do the same thing. Type in the equation, solve it for the zeros by hand if you want, and there's a multiplicity factor in that one because you have some exponents involved. But I think I'm going to leave that for you to do by yourself. It's not that hard. Good luck. Send me an email if you get stuck.